Alien Romulus hits theaters in just 2 months. Let's break down everything we know about Fede Alvarez's addition to the Alien franchise.
What's up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast. Alien Romulus finally dropped its official trailer. We got a teaser a few weeks ago. We have a great 2-minute long trailer to dissect this film. It looks fabulous. And Fede Alvarez, like he said in an interview a couple weeks ago, is making a film that feels like it's a DNA of both Alien and Aliens put together. And honestly, it looks like that. We got a lot of callbacks. We got a lot of visual references. The lighting, the filmmaking, it feels like a combination of both of those films. And it feels very Aliens, too.
Exactly. This movie takes place right smack in the middle of Alien and Aliens.
Right
so basically, it's Alien 1.5.
They cushioned it in there.
Alien 1.5, or Aliens, like half a S. Aliens...
Short S?
Aliens, that's what this movie is. It's right in the middle. And I'm very excited about this. Anthony and I are massive fans of the Alien franchise, and both Ridley Scott and James Cameron created masterpieces in the genre with Alien from Ridley Scott in 1979. Then 1986 was Aliens, which is just one of the best action movies ever made. Both very different interpretations of the story and the lore, but both great films. And we've had some pretty good Alien movies here and there. You know, combining the franchise with the Predator franchise has been fun. Prometheus has very mixed reviews and mixed response. Anthony and I enjoy Prometheus. We also really like Alien Covenant. I mean, on a couple of rewatches, Alien Covenant is absolutely terrific. I think it's overhated. I think it's overhated and underrated in a lot of ways.
Whoa.
It's a great film. And I like those movies because they took a shot. They weren't playing it safe. Ridley and the team, they're like, let's do something different. Let's go back to an origin in a way, but also let's do something risky. Let's do something interesting. Let's challenge the audience. And maybe that's why a lot of the audience doesn't really like those movies very much. I would say Prometheus, people like Alien Covenant a little more. I think they're both great, to be honest. But they didn't go the safe route. Whereas a lot of legacy sequels, prequels, origin stories, reboots, remakes, they're pretty safe. You know, they hit all the same beats. They're almost rewritten versions of the past movies. All the homages, all the same similar shots to, you know, feed that nostalgic craving for audiences. So, oh yeah, you remember this movie? This is a new version of that movie, but we got all the same stuff. You know that. You know this shot. You know this thing right here. Where, you know, Prometheus and Alien Covenant aren't quite like that. Of course, it's in there, those similar things, but it's totally different. With Alien Romulus, I think, and I hope it's a blend of both, where we clearly got a lot of references to both Aliens, and even Alien 3. Alien Cubed has references in there as well. That great famous shot of Sigourney with the Xenomorph next to her face, you know, that's from Alien 3. And I hope this movie isn't just feeding us nostalgia to enjoy it and to feel like we're back in that world, because I want something fresh. And I think Fede will deliver us something fresh because he's a really great director. Evil Dead, even though that was a remake, it was fresh as hell and bloody as fuck. And then I really like Don't Breathe. That was a really unique movie. So I think Fede was really the right choice for a filmmaker to make this movie, make this reboot, sequel, legacy, origin film of the Alien franchise, being a good addition there, where we obviously get homages and we have some exact shots from the original movies, but we're getting something fresh at the same time.
I understand why with Prometheus and Alien Covenant they tried to do something very different, because they did try to do the Alien formula a couple of times after. I'm sorry, you're drinking a juice box, looking at me with a serious face. You have a juicy juice. What the fuck? You are sipping a juice box. I'm trying to...
Sip time. Sip.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
Sit time.
I'm sorry, I was not expecting that.
I need some sugar.
But so you can understand why they try to do something very different with Prometheus and Alien Covenant, because they tried to do the Alien structure a couple of times after Alien. So the Alien 3 didn't work out. Alien Resurrection didn't work out either.
Although I do like Alien 3.
Yeah, it's good. And Alien Resurrection has its moments, but it's not that strong of a movie if you're going to compare it to the other ones in the franchise. It's not in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
So those were two kind of failures for the studio. So then they were probably like, let's try to really mix it up. And then we have these two IPs, Alien and Predator. It'd be fun if we clash them together. They were kind of dumb fun. We really enjoyed them as kids.
AVP, man, that was sick. Movie was sick.
And I understand why they were trying to not do what had been done before. And with Prometheus and Alien Covenant, ultimately, they didn't quite feel right. They don't feel like the connective tissue is 100% there. And in my opinion, even though I do enjoy them, they do feel just way too big in scope. The Alien franchise really shines with smaller scope and keeping the stakes really personal. Aliens, you're on the ship, and that's it. It's just a handful of people. The stakes are just with them. Whereas Prometheus and Alien Covenant, the stakes were global, monumental, huge stakes. And so I'm really happy that with this new addition to the franchise, we are going back to the roots and trying. And Fede seems like he's really doing his best to honor the two films that fans truly adore more than any of the others, because they are two absolute masterpieces in cinema, both in the horror, science fiction, and action genres. So I think that watching the first teaser was really exciting. We got only like 8 shots for like 45 seconds, and they were just perfect. And in this longer trailer, we get a lot more to look at. And I'm talking, we're getting that red lighting in that room where the guy's fighting the facehugger. That's obviously reminiscent of the team battling the xenomorphs in that huge interior with the red lights, like in the tunnels. Like that red light, I'm sure Fede was like, we need to get a scene like that has that lighting from Aliens. That's so iconic, because that was the first big confrontation, the second big confrontation of humans versus aliens in that film. It was so memorable with the what do you call it? The little mapper, the digital mapper. Beep 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 beep. And then
what's he call it? Minute changes in
air density. Yeah, air density.
Air density.
Air density, my ass. And then we get so many shots of just the tunnels of the ship, which are just like this. That's part of the DNA of the Alien franchise. If you want to really make it feel right, is the ship interiors. And this feels like those ship interiors that we're familiar with. It's obviously not the same ship, it's a different ship, but it has the feeling. And also, clearly, we're going to have a big finale climax of Kaylee Spaney's character going off into the ship on her own against xenomorphs, which is what we want. You know, they did that in Alien, they did that in Aliens, and it fucking works. And those are things that, you know, they didn't quite nail in 3 and 4, and obviously didn't do it all in Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And these are things I'm looking back to. They're my favorite moments of the films. And so I think Fede seems to be really harkening back and using the originals for huge amounts of inspiration. And we got a lot of great new things and cool new ideas that I'm really excited to talk about.
Yeah, and the plot for a while was always described as an original standalone film not connected to Alien or Aliens. Remember, like last year, I believe that was the news. But now, recently, we found out it's in between Alien and Aliens. And now, I believe, after watching the trailer, it looks like the movie takes place on LV-426, which was the colony in Aliens that they go and try to figure out what happened. The settlement called Hadley's Hope. And this is part of Weyland-Yutani's Build Better Worlds campaign. And they committed to terraforming viable moons and planets across the cosmos. And obviously in Aliens, they show up, they're dead. They don't know what's happened, and there's the
just
beacon
Newt's left.
Yeah, there's Newt's the only person there. So I'm guessing that this movie is what happened on that colony, possibly. Mm-hmm. That's my assumption.
Well, it looks like this is a
ravaged or a colony.
Yeah. So again, we don't know anything about this film, so we're technically not spoiling anything, but we are going to do our best to try to interpret what we can from the trailer that was just dropped. And again, the trailer doesn't look like it gives anything away, which is why I love it so much.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't look like I know at all anything that's really happening in the film.
I really like the trailer a lot because they don't show us the whole movie, and also I love the last 30 seconds where, you know, we're getting the great log line in space, no one can hear you scream.
The title.
There's no sound in the end of the trailer. It's just the music, and it looked terrific.
Well, it's just like the original trailer. That's what it was like, and with that great title of the alien slowly forming in different pieces. And from what we can tell, this cast is a group of scavengers who are scavengers. Sorry, I was thinking Guardians. A group of scavengers who look like they travel to different wrecks to try and salvage materials that they can sell, and that's what they do for a living. and it looks like it's a tough job. I really like how we're getting like a Blade Runner kind of world where these characters live on the planet. That's something we haven't seen in the Alien franchise. Even with Aliens, we got the interiors, but we didn't get any really exterior shots, too many.
And they were exterior shots, but they were with like minimal power and just covered in dust from the storms on the moon.
So, but I'm talking about where Ripley wakes up from the coma. It's like we're really Cameron really showed interiors and people with their blazers pulled up. So in this one, we got a great shot through the window of what looks like some kind of huge industrial building. And it seems as though they live in the middle of a gigantic metropolitan. And it gave me Blade Runner vibes.
But it seems like a colony on a moon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my assumption is it's a human colony, a Weyland-Yutani colony on a moon. Not sure if it's LV-426, which is Hadley's Hope. I feel like we'll find out when we see the movie. But for me, this is what makes sense, is to make that the plot of the film. If not, then just other colonies. But also, there's so much about this trailer that I really enjoyed, sort of this illusion. And obviously, we will learn information about this in the past teaser and information from the filmmakers, how there's a sort of experimental laboratory on the ship. Romulus Labs was teased from one of the doors in the original teaser trailer, Romulus Labs. And we can assume that Weyland-Yutani, after the first events of Alien, are experimenting and sort of dealing and trying to figure out how to harness the power of the Xenomorph.
Yeah, and it looks like the group of scavengers, they definitely travel to a foreign planet where they're going to maybe investigate. Maybe they're the first ones at the colony after it's gone down. Who knows? That could possibly be it. And the cast is really interesting. So we got Kaylee Spaney, who plays our lead, named Rain Carradine. And Kaylee's on fire. She just was in Priscilla. She's blowing up big time. This is a huge role for her in her career. Isabella Merced will play Kay. Archie Renault looks like he's playing like the soldier archetype that we get. And we see him. He's in that still with Kaylee Spaney, teaching her how to hold the plasma rifle. And that's just like an awesome callback to Aliens. David Johnson playing Andy. He looks like he's definitely playing the android of the crew.
Definitely the synthetic.
Yeah, absolutely. Based upon his clothing, he's got a very rigid posture. And also when he says run in the second trailer, it's just very monotone. And it seems like he's definitely playing the droid. Then we get Spike Fear and Aileen Wu, who are two relatively unknown actors. In terms of Aileen Wu, this is her first feature film role. So what a way of hitting it big. So the cast is interesting. I was wondering why the cast would be so young from the first teaser trailer and from the announcements, but now it makes sense. It's like a group of scavengers, and that would make sense in a world like this where young people who maybe are disillusioned or don't have anywhere to go, maybe they're raised in some kind of foster environment or whatever, they band together to try to help each other survive. So now it makes sense that the crew is quite young in this film.
So the idea of an Alien movie from the perspective and focusing on younger characters is actually inspired by a deleted scene from Aliens that was later restored in the special edition of the movie. And Fede Alvarez explained there's a moment where you see a bunch of kids running around the corridor of this colony, and I thought, wow, what would it be like for those kids to grow up in a colony that still needs another 50 years to terraform? So I remember thinking, if I ever tell a story in that world, I would definitely be interested in those kids when they reach their early 20s. So I think that's really the inspiration, it seems like, from this perspective. Also, it's sort of a trend in Hollywood right now of you do a reboot with hot young people. I think that's sort of a trend. Whether or not it'll make sense, we'll find out. It seems like it fits the lore really well. It seems like it fits the special edition, this deleted scene, really well. That's maybe my only hesitation to this film, is how young the cast is. And I think that's something that I'm sure will be washed away within the first few minutes of the film, because it looks like it was made so well. It looks outstanding.
Yeah.
But that's my one thing about the movie. Everyone's like a little too young and hot, but that's a very trendy thing right now in Hollywood.
I think that also studios are constantly pushing to gear towards a younger crowd. Doesn't have to be kids, but geared towards younger people.
Yeah, but you don't need young characters to hook young people. You know, people love Alien, and everyone in that movie is at least 30 or 35 or older.
We're talking about the 70s here.
Yeah, so
I'm saying
there weren't young people in the 70s?
No, I'm saying that Hollywood was not making movies for younger people back then. They were making movies for older people just as much as younger people.
Yeah, but younger people love older movies. They love those older characters too. What I'm saying is that I think it doesn't really matter as long as the movie's great. It doesn't matter how old your characters are.
Oh, neither do I.
Yeah, I tend to think that sometimes leaning towards, we'll get a younger audience with just young hot people, doesn't always work because I think it doesn't really matter. All people want is just great cinema.
Well, no, what I'm saying is there's the new trend in Hollywood studios where, and you just said reboot a franchise with younger, hotter cast. I'm just saying studios are gearing their productions towards trying to reach younger.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing.
I know.
I'm just saying it's not. I don't think it's effective. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know that's what they're doing. We're
so confused.
We're literally saying the same thing. You're literally saying the same thing as me, just from a different perspective. I'm just saying I don't think it's the right move.
Yeah.
To always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just literally agree. We agree. This everyone listening is just like these
what
two
the fuck are they
saying
talking
the
about?
same exact
let's
thing.
get into the trailer. So first, one of my favorite shots in the trailer. I don't want to go in chronological order, so I just want to talk about favorite moments. There's a moment in this trailer that absolutely blew me away, and it's something we've never seen before in this franchise, and it's something that adds so much more horror to a moment than anything I've ever seen before, and that is the zero-G moment. So there are two shots of zero-G. One shot just shows debris floating about, and then another shot of zero-G shows one of the characters floating towards a cloud of acid blood. And my God, it looks like it's probably going to be the fucking scariest, most tense part of that entire movie. I cannot believe that. It's an unbelievably brilliant shot and concept.
Is it Kaylee Spaney?
It looks like it could be. I'm not entirely sure who it is. It does look like it could be her profile or Isabel Merced. It definitely is a woman, and so it's definitely one of those characters with the longer hair.
It's the last shot of the film, right?
It's
of
one
the trailer.
It's one of
the last shots of the
It's
trailer.
in the third act of the trailer.
Yeah. So that's really incredible. And then that was with the title card of Alien. Now the floating acid. It is Kaylee Spaney.
Okay.
And just gracefully floating around this acid.
Oh my God.
It's really incredible. And I think the first thing about this film that also has to do with this image is I really like the cinematography of this movie, and silhouettes are so hot lately. I think Roger Deakins and Greg Fraser have had such a huge influence on cinematographers the last 10 years that they have made, I think they've made silhouettes very, very popular. And they've made them very in vogue. They're very sexy silhouettes, and those two guys are really some of the best right now when it comes to capturing silhouettes. It's sort of their bread and butter for like some of the best shots in their movies.
Deakins has been doing it for decades.
Yeah, and Greg Fraser has just been doing it in everything he does too. And I really liked all the silhouettes in this trailer, in both the teaser and in this main full trailer. Lots of great silhouettes, but even that floating shot is a silhouette.
Yeah.
With shadows and contrast with a big light behind her, silhouetted floating among acid, which is incredible. But you're right, we've never really gotten, when we're talking about aliens, we've never really gotten a zero-G moment of like floating in space, which is actually a great point.
Because the only zero-G moment we've gotten is when she opened up the ship to obviously shoot the Xenomorph out, but she was locked in. She was strapped in the chair.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have even been zero-G.
Well, I guess not. Yeah.
An alien? Yeah, it's just a pressure change. It's
Oh yeah, you're right.
But then afterwards, and then she closes it.
Yeah.
The pressure resets.
Yeah. So then, and she was strapped to the
Repressurizes.
chair the whole time,
Yeah.
so we didn't actually see it. And zero-G, I'm trying to think in Prometheus. No, it was Alien Covenant. They also shot out the alien through that, but that had a little bit of zero-G. But that didn't really make sense because she was walking in zero-G, and so it didn't. They defied the laws of physics in that. Whereas in this one, it looks very true to reality.
So it's pretty clear if you're looking at this image, either she just killed a xenomorph, and maybe this is the end of the movie. She killed a xenomorph, and now she has to avoid acid blood.
Oh my God.
That would be pretty intense. Like, oh my God, it's over, but oh my God, look at all this.
There's another great
acid
moment
blood.
in this trailer that I really was absolutely floored by, and it's just so exciting to see something like this. Just Fede and his team bringing new ideas to the franchise, and that's where we have the character played by Eileen Wu, who clearly has a little baby xenomorph inside of her. She's like feeling something in her chest, and she grabs this X-ray machine. It's like a portable handheld X-rayer where it projects some kind of X-ray light through your actual body, and you can see inside of a person's body live. And she throws it behind her back, and it reveals inside of her chest, and you can see inside her rib cage the little baby xenomorph trying to break out.
He's like knocking.
And
Hello, Mom, let me out. Let me out.
I'm hungry. Mom, the meatloaf. And you hear the crunching and bashing of bones, and her rib cage is literally about to break. And holy shit, I was like, that's fucking awesome. So brilliant.
It looks really cool.
Gives us something fresh.
Speaking of fresh, let's talk about the face huggers too. And from the teaser alone was incredible because we are getting more face huggers than we've ever seen before. And what I really like from these trailers and teasers, it looks like we're getting a big focus on the facehuggers. Not that they haven't always had a big focus, but we've only seen like usually 1 or 2 at a time. We haven't seen swarms of facehuggers really.
It's finally their moment.
It's their time. The summer of Glenn Powell and the summer of facehuggers is upon us. And I loved in the teaser a bunch of facehuggers just swarming out of a corridor towards camera, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But then in the teaser trailer, in the full-length trailer, we got a couple different shots, really interesting focus points of the facehuggers. I think, first of all, we got one hatching from a cocoon. Mm-hmm. So this cocoon structure showing us versus like an egg that we're used to from Alien and Aliens. Now we have this cocoon structure it's coming out of. And then also we have a great shot of clearly synthetically grown facehuggers inside of a lab. And there's a shot, all this red lighting, and these facehuggers are coming out of these sort of, I guess you could say, particle walls. It's like a particle window.
Wow, what a great way to describe it.
It's clear, but like you can sort of, it's clear if you're inside.
It's like a plasma wall.
Yeah, it's like a plasma wall that you can see through. And we also have a shot of a massive asteroid coming through one as well onto a ship. I'm wondering if that's where the cocoon's facehuggers are. Maybe this ship picked it up. Now, this facehugger falling from these plastic capsules is really interesting because it obviously means that they're being artificially grown inside what we can assume would be Romulus Labs, Romulus Laboratories, experimental laboratory from Weyland-Yutani. But also, when they leave this sort of structure, their little capsules, they're falling. So my guess is whatever ship they're in or whatever building, it's been capsized, knocked over to the side, so they're falling to the ground versus where they would have just been picked up. So it looks like it's some sort of ship crashed. This is probably one of the climaxes of the movie where a ship gets crashed or gets knocked over to its side, and all the xenomorphs get released, and they're falling down, cascading down to the side of the ship.
That's a good call because in the first shot of them, there's characters walking beneath them, and then in the second shot, they fall down, and it's like kind of like the same angle of framing, but now they're falling towards the camera. So that's a great point. Also, they have a different look because obviously it looks like they're being synthetically made from DNA. I'm guessing that after the events of Alien or the events of Aliens, it could be in a way not in between. We'll find out. Really, they could have taken DNA or samples from those sites and created their own versions because these facehuggers, and I pointed this out after the teaser trailer, they have like a dark silver look to them. As opposed to the facehuggers we've known for so many years, they have a very pale flesh. And these ones, they have this, dark silver tone to them and like a brownish hue of their legs. So I think that is because they're partially being grown artificially, so they have a different look. Or maybe they've even infused some of the xenomorph abilities into the facehuggers, which is why their skin tone is darker and more closer in color to the color of the skin of xenomorphs. Maybe they have more stronger skin, more durable skin, or whatever. It could be like a combination of both. Like they're super facehuggers.
Super facehuggers. And, staying on the facehuggers a little more, I think Fede, when he took on this project, he probably went with his writing team and production team, all right, what have we not seen from the Alien franchise before? Obviously we're going to homage shots from all of our favorite moments from the movies. We got those. We've seen them in the trailers. We've seen them in the teasers. We know there'll be references all throughout this movie. But what haven't we seen specifically when it comes to the xenomorph, specifically when it comes to the facehuggers? And one of my favorite shots from this trailer was a facehugger and seeing its impregnating tentacle go inside of a character's mouth. It's like 3 seconds, this shot, and it's fear-inducing of this tentacle just going down someone's throat because we never really seen it from that perspective. We've never seen what happens right as they're latching onto your face, what exactly it looks like with that tentacle going down and then being stuck in there, putting you into that coma. Holy crap, it looked good.
That's a great way to describe it.
I try to safely say it without
the guy's getting
remixed on a DJ track.
That's hyper disturbing, honestly. It's a great shot, and because we've seen the before in the after, so we know that it has some kind of organ that pushes its egg through appendage. But now we got to see it like in the act, and it's fucking terrifying. Like that's scary. Like that's a way of. It's obviously the moment that we've seen many times, but he's doing it in a fresh way. He's like, how do I do this differently? Oh, what if we show that appendage actually trying to insert itself in the mouth of its target? And so that's something like you can do a movie that is reminiscent and follows the archetype and structure of the two movies we love. But if you add freshness to it, we'll love it. It'll make us excited. So it won't feel redundant. It won't feel like we've seen this 1,000 times. That shot is a great one to point out because it adds freshness to something that's familiar to us.
That's a really good point. And let's talk about the Xenomorph too.
Oh yeah,
we got some really interesting shots of a Xenomorph. I think one of my favorites was when Kaylee Spaney's character looks like is shooting her assault rifle.
Oh yeah,
at the Xenomorph, and it's just bouncing right off the exterior of the creature, right off its skin. So shows a great shot of how impenetrable they are, how much of a perfect organism they are when it comes to defensive skills or defensive attributes, and how strong they are. To see that bullets just bounce right off them, which is really cool.
I like that because it could be like the shell on much of its exterior is impenetrable, but then like its interior, like its belly and different parts of the inner parts of its body are more vulnerable to gunfire. I think that's something that if they explore in this film would make a lot of sense. And we also got a ton of acid blood. Like I said, in the zero-G sequence, there's a shit ton of acid blood. But also we got what looks like an alien morphing in some way, or maybe expanding, or even giving birth to an egg or something. And it's dripping some acid onto some metal piping. But we also got early in this trailer a huge gaping hole of acid, which has gone through layers and levels of the interior of this ship, which is just like, you need to see that. And when you look at that, you're like, oh my God, how many aliens are there and how big is this freaking thing? And then there's another shot of a Xenomorph that I saw that was so interesting that we've never seen anything like it before. And it's like the uncurling of its hand, of its fingers. And it looks like maybe this is the thing that's being birthed out of another Xenomorph that I mentioned earlier, like the expanding of it. So maybe this Xenomorph is like being born in a way, but which would make it different.
Well, that's a theory. I would guess that it's just gone through its metamorphosis. It's changing physically.
It's cocoon.
It's maybe not busting out of its cocoon, but it's fed. So now it's getting really big. So obviously they come out, they're mini, but now remember, because they grow so quickly, maybe this is its changes. It's starting to evolve.
That's what I bet this is. I bet this is like,
because they only get birthed out of other bodies, either humans or other creatures. That's the only way that they get birthed. They don't birth each other, except unless there's a queen, of course. But that's my guess. I'm guessing we'll finally see maybe different stages of evolution of a Xenomorph, because we've only ever seen them very small and tiny after they chest burst, and then we see sort of just them in their full form. But I want to see what it looks like. And maybe that's Fede's exploring. Like, what haven't we seen? What's it look like when an alien finds its food source and then starts to grow rapidly, insanely quickly, goes through some sort of metamorphosis, and it changes and evolves within an hour or two?
Absolutely, I agree. So it looks like we're going to see maybe a Xenomorph emerging from a large cocoon.
Yeah, maybe they cocoon,
into its final form.
Who knows? We don't know what they do.
That sounds awesome.
He finds a cheeseburger, and he's like, that's all I needed. I'll be right. Give me 5 minutes,
I just needed one cat. Anyone seeing Harry Dean Stanton around? I'm hungry.
And what's interesting about the Xenomorph also is, of course, it looks like the Xenomorph we all know and love, but it also looks a little different. It looks like the inner mouth isn't as long. It looks like it's a little shorter, because the inner mouth in the first film and in the second one, it shoots out at least like about a foot. But the mouth, clearly with the shot with Kaylee Spaney, the Alien 3 reference of her screaming while it's next to her neck, it only shoots out about as long as the outer head goes.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't look like it extends as far. So it looks like it has a little bit more of a narrow neck when it comes to that, as well as maybe a shorter snout, I guess you would say. But it still has those great metallic-looking teeth, as well as a little different in terms of the edges of the jawline when it extends its mouth fully, like a snake.
Yeah, I think you might be right seeing the profile in this shot, because in the teaser it looked exactly the same. But then in the profile shot of these ones, it does look slightly different, but not like as different as like Prometheus Alien Covenant ones, which I did not like. I mean, Alien Covenant, they went to the classic, but the Prometheus one I did not like. So it does look like it could be a slight alteration, because again, it's artificially made. So it'll be birthed from an artificially made facehugger, which will be birthed inside of a person. So that would make sense for slight changes and alterations to the actual physicality of the beast in slight ways.
And the special effects in this movie look really terrific in terms of special effects done in camera, practical effects. And how about we take our quick intermission break, and then we'll get back and talk about the special effects in this movie. And before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast is to become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Why would you want to become a patron? Because you get bonus content. We do bonus episodes every single week on Patreon. Not to mention, you get access to the ad-free version of every single episode. If you want to skip the commercial breaks, that's fine. We understand that. We all understand that we need to put ads on our show to pay the rent. But if you want no ads on the show, then every patron has access to the ad-free versions of every single main episode. You also get access to our Discord. We're having a watch party for... What are we watching?
Office Space.
Office Space, which is going to be a lot of fun. We try to do it every once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on Anthony and I's schedule. And it's always a good time. Discord community is really terrific. There's people in there chatting all the time about film, gifts being sent constantly. It's a lot of fun. We do movie drafts as well. We've done fantasy football leagues. It's really cool. Also, another great way to support the show is to leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This helps us get seen by new people on these platforms. It helps us chart on podcast charts better, as well as adds more reputability to the show. And at 5,000 Apple ratings, I'll be getting a tattoo of Anthony's choice. Hopefully it's not too embarrassing, but we got to get those numbers up.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys want to see me get a tattoo, I'll read a written review on Apple Podcasts out in just a moment. And another great way to support the show is to obviously subscribe, like, leave those comments, and share us with your family and friends. Word of mouth is the best way for a podcast to grow, so please send us to everyone you know.
This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the #1 place to get your posters online today. Be sure to use our promo code Raiders10 at movieposters.com to get 10% off your order right now. They have a huge selection of pretty much every movie and TV show imaginable in their poster library, as well as all sorts of sizes, framing, and even backlighting for your poster needs. In this episode, we are doing a movie poster giveaway, so if you'd like to enter for a chance to win a free movie poster from movieposters.com, all you have to do to enter is go to our YouTube channel and make a comment on this episode on YouTube, the Alien Romulus episode. Make a comment in that video that enters you into a chance to win a free movie poster from our friends at movieposters.com. And in the meantime, be sure to use our promo code over there, Raiders10, to get 10% off your order right now.
They sent me an Alien poster last year.
Fuck yeah.
It's in my room. It used to be on the set, but yeah, it's in my room right now.
I just got a Dune poster. It's just very curved right now, so I'm uncurling it.
Uncurling it because you just got back from England. It was waiting for you in the tube.
It was waiting for me.
But I did get this backlight poster for my Fellowship of the Ring, which is a certified original print, double-sided, with the backlight frame. Looks absolutely incredible. I got a certificate of authenticity for it because it actually was an original print from back in 2001 when it was in theaters. It's so cool. Best purchase ever made.
Fuck yeah,
Thank
man.
you, movieposters.com. Now, let's get into our intermission, Anthony. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with a movie quote. Here we go. You can tell her that when you found me, I was with the only brothers I had left, and that there was no way I was deserting them.
That's Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, it is.
Good one. Great movie. All right, here's my quote. This could be the worst disaster NASA's ever experienced. With all due respect, sir, I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Say it one more time.
This could be the worst disaster NASA's ever experienced. With all due respect, sir, I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
What space movie is this? I
bet you don't get it.
Apollo 13?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Got it.
You got it.
Yeah, because that's when after the ship's broken down, right? And they're trying to figure out how to get them back. Because either they're going to die or they figure it out. That's such a good movie because then they have the engineers at NASA and they have all the supplies that are on the ship. And they're like, all right, we have to figure out how to solve the problem with the mechanical issues on this spacecraft, on the capsule.
With what they have.
What they have. It's like a table full of like some tubing, plastic wraps, and tape. And like, it's all right, we're going to figure this out.
Tony Stark fixed this spaceship in the cave with scraps.
I'm not Tony Stark. Sick reference, bro.
What's your movie release year?
What year did Dead Poets Society come out?
1989.
1989 is correct.
Yes.
You got it, everybody.
It's because I did it like a month ago.
Oh, did I?
I did it.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Damn, I didn't notice.
What year did Twister come out?
Ha! Fuck yeah. Dude, did you see the new IMAX poster for Twisters?
I don't think so.
It's a sick poster.
Nice, dude.
It's really, really good.
Nice.
It's just Daisy and Glenn screaming as just massive amounts of wind are blowing them away. It looks like they're going to get swept away. It's so cool.
Nice.
It's
dude.
really sick.
Can't wait to see it.
Twister came out. Is this an 80 movie or 90 movie? Fuck. 1989.
1996.
96?
Yeah, you were way off.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I guess we were live when it came out in
when it came-
theaters.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, why we...
I remember it being talked about a lot. when
Man,
we
it
were
feels like
kids.
such an older movie.
It's not. It's not.
I kind of want to watch that soon.
Me too.
We should watch it soon and review it.
Yeah, why not?
Fuck yeah.
And just in time for Twisters.
Twisters! All right. Movie pop quiz time. Angelina Jolie has 2 Oscar nominations and 1 win. What are the films?
2 Oscar nominations and 1 win.
One of them's a win.
What's it called? The hospital one. The fuck's it called? Blah, 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 blah.
That's not the title.
She's nominated for Changeling.
Yes.
What's that movie called when Winona Ryder, Angelina Jolie, her
Again,
she-
that's not the title.
She or her something. It's called. Hold on, this is gonna. This is fucking pissing me off. What? What's this called? I know the movie. Girl Interrupted.
Yes.
Thank you. I just needed a minute.
Yeah. That's what she
Yeah.
won for.
Yeah, nominated for Changeling. How much money did Twister gross in the theaters?
$380 million.
$500 million.
Oh my God! In 1996?
Yeah.
Twisters is back, baby! Let's go!
I'm surprised they didn't make another one.
It took them a while, yeah.
It took them 30 years.
Maybe they didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Maybe Bill Paxton was like, fuck that. It's a lot of money.
Well, I mean, what do you do? Like another twist, like 2 Twisters, I guess? It's probably like, we did it.
it's probably good that they didn't because now it's exciting that there's another one coming out.
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't feel like
agree.
it's being milked. It's
I
like
agree.
Top Gun Maverick. Like, they didn't do a bunch of sequels until 40 years later.
And you know they probably asked Tom, like, hey, do you want to do another one? And
Yeah.
Tony Scott, they're probably like, I'm good. We got some other stuff cooking. All right. Anthony, do we have any haters this week? Any unsubscribes? What are we working with?
Yeah, we got some haters. We
While I do that, I'm going to pull up a 5-star review.
John Mondello wrote in our news episode, "Why on earth are you not rating movies on Letterboxd anymore? Might have to unsubscribe. Need it."
I don't want to do star ratings anymore, man.
You're done.
I'm done. It's just it can be toxic, and I don't know. I don't like it. I respect other people that want, if you want to keep doing it. I get why people do it. I just don't want to participate in the star system anymore.
You don't have to, man.
I
As you
don't-
drink your juice box. I can't believe, like, I'm talking and you're just like looking at me, listening intently with drinking a juice box. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
Is it apple?
Yeah, it's Apple.
Nice. All right. We got another great one from Jazzy Jeff on our churros clip.
Nathaniel!
Our churros clip about challengers. He wrote, 2 bros can't even enjoy some churros in peace anymore. Unsubscribe. That's hilarious. Oh my God. What's your streaming recommendation today?
Well, let me get to a review first.
Oh, review, yeah.
So, we have a
Hey.
great 5-star written review
Fuck yeah.
from Yesenia. Mike Myers, #1 fan. 5 stars. Best podcast ever! Woo! It was in all caps. Anthony and James are probably the most entertaining people I've seen deconstruct films. From their great banter to Anthony's mispronunciation of words, every minute is an absolute pleasure to listen to. Only one big con: no Shrek. Unsubscribe.
We've never done Shrek.
No kidding for now, but no Shrek. I feel like it's one brother, James, behind this blasphemy, but I'll keep on listening in hopes of it.
It is James's fault.
Wow, all the
It's
inside
all-
jokes.
it's his
too.
fault.
Great job, boys. Keep it up, as I've been inspired to attend every single new movie to be caught up with you guys. Ha ha ha.
Aw, thanks.
Yesenia, thank you so much
So sweet.
for that review. Film girl.
And now, yeah, James refuses to talk about Shrek in any way.
That's not
he
true
hates,
at all.
James hates Shrek.
I don't hate Shrek
Why
at all.
do you hate Shrek?
You know what? I'm alienate the fan base, so I'm not going to go
You're
further.
going to alien.
I say we should review Shrek soon.
Okay. We'll do Shrek
be a
and
banger.
Shrek 2.
Oh, that's a good idea. Do
And
Shrek
Shrek
1 and
the
2.
third.
All right, cool.
Hey, now. You're a rock star.
All-star.
All-star.
You said another song. Yesenia, thank you so much for that review. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry about the no Shrek review. I promise we'll get it done. That's what we'll do. Twister
And then
and we'll do
Shrek.
Shrek. What a week.
Bangers.
What a week.
Bangers. It'll blow us up. That'll be the week that blows us up.
Yeah, we're finally big.
What's your streaming rec?
Hitman on Netflix.
Nice. My streaming rec is La Chimera on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for $5. Great film. I loved it. Let's get back into our alien Romulus.
So, before our break, I brought up how this film looks like it has great special effects and in-camera practical effects. Clearly, I didn't see a ton of CGI at all. Maybe probably some of the shots eventually of CGI.
Just the planet.
We'll get of the alien attacks maybe that you can't really do practically very well. But a lot of it looked like great practical special effects. Now, Fede, he sought out the special effects crew from Aliens.
Oh, wow.
To work on the creatures. So he got physical sets, practical creatures, and miniatures that a lot of the original people who worked on the Aliens came and helped out on this movie and worked on the film to do the special effects work. Obviously to do as much as possible, but clearly there will be visual effects work in this movie as well, CGI. But I really appreciate and I love a filmmaker that's willing to go as much special effects and practical effects as possible. And even a couple of weeks ago, he posted on his Instagram a video of him with a remote control operating a little face hugger on the ground that's zooming around. And it looked so cool. And that made me really excited about the movie. The teaser trailer looked great, but it was really that video for me, Fede playing with a remote operated face hugger with its tentacles running around so well. That's really what made me super excited about this film. Because obviously we've gotten many movies in this franchise since the original two, but I'm very excited about this film, but that was what did it for me.
There's also another callback that I adored in this trailer, and it's something we haven't seen since the first film. We have not seen this image, and it's the blue laser light.
Yeah, on the ground?
Yeah, so the blue laser light, famously, John Hurt, he goes down and he finds the huge nest of eggs in Alien. He goes down through the light, and it looks like the light somehow is keeping the ecosystem where the eggs are at a certain level, and clearly done by
homeostasis.
Yeah, homeostasis. Thank you. Great
Gotcha, bro.
Clearly done by people, and it's an incredible moment of that film. It's visually stunning, and oh my god, it's so cool, the imagery. And then we finally got that shot where we see the character who we're guessing is the synthetic Andy. He sees the light on the floor.
Andy's definitely a synthetic, bro. His eyes go white.
Yeah, that's true. He's synthetic. Andy the synthetic, and he crouches down into the blue light. And I was just like, man, that just put a smile on my face when I saw it. I was like, that's perfect. We needed that. It really shows that this film is in the right hands, because that's an image, like I said, it's in terms of how I remember Alien, like that's such an iconic part of it. The beautiful visual effects and not visual effects, special effects of that light, and it's just so phenomenal. Such strong imagery. So to make the film based around the great parts of the originals, to get that in there is really important for me.
Also, about the synthetic, it seems like the one in this film is a nice guy. Nice synthetic, sort of like in Aliens. Alien, we had a great synthetic character that really threw a wrench into the plot and was conniving, and based off its operating procedures and OS,
it wasn't
coding,
his fault.
It had the best interests for Mother. Whatever Mother wanted, whatever Weyland-Yutani wanted, that's what that synthetic did, Ash. And then in Aliens, we have a different synthetic, a better programmed one that's better and more focused on helping the humans on the spacecraft, and does eventually put himself on the line to help others as well. And then we've had a history of evil synthetics or synthetics that are out and sort of have great twist moments. Winona Ryder played a synthetic, right, in one of the other ones. That was a great twist. I won't spoil it if you've never seen it.
As you just spoiled it.
Well, we don't know what the twist is.
Okay.
She could have been evil, but then, hey, I'm a good girl. Or I'm a good girl now. I'm evil. Like, I don't know. Come on. I gave out like 30 years ago. Like 30 years ago. Let's go. Get over it.
It's 30 years ago. Get over it. Oh my god. It's 30 years ago.
But clearly, the synthetic seems like a positive force among the crew, helping them to make them safe and help whatever mission they're on.
It also seems like he's part of their crew of scavengers, and like he and Kaylee Spaney's character hold hands. So it shows there is a bond between them.
Gotcha. So it's interesting to not have what we assume. Maybe there's a twist in this where they end up being evil, that the synthetic in this seems to be a good character.
That can be too predictable, I think.
True.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not. Also, speaking of Romulus, so after months of speculation about the meaning of the title Romulus, the subtitle, Fede Alvarez explained that it refers to the Romulus space station, obviously, where part of the action in the film takes place, so we won't be there for the full film, it seems like. He also implied that there is a sister station called Remus, so both structures are named after the twins Romulus and Remus from mythology, founders of the city of Rome and the Roman kingdom. Romulus and Remus, how they were birthed from a wolf, obviously, that myth, and then built Rome on a hill. This isn't the first time this has been done in the Alien franchise. Ridley obviously did this with Prometheus after the Greek Titan, and the ship Endisidora and the Apollo computer from Alien Isolation, plus which were named after the Roman goddess and god respectively. Then Planetoid Acheron from Aliens, named after a river in the Greek underworld, and the USS Auriga from Alien Resurrection, named after a Greek hero.
Very cool stuff.
So it seems like Remus will be a sister planet,
I
or sister ship.
And I wonder whether it's the station or the ship where the huge hive is located. Because obviously the crew is going to encounter a hive.
I think it's going to be on the ship.
I think it's going to be the station.
So colony?
Yeah. The hive.
I think that
hive of xenomorphs.
I think that the lab will be on the ship, because if the ship's called Romulus, then well, Romulus Labs.
Yeah, makes sense too.
Unless it's a ship that in the station are both named Romulus. It's possible.
We'll find out, man. We will find out. Either way, I mean, like you said, visual effects are kept at a minimum. And looking through the trailer, obviously there's going to be plenty that we see. Like, for example, like they're bringing in something they've scavenged, like a huge object through a huge opening, and it's going through that plasma wall. That's obviously visual effects. But it looks like everything in terms of interiors, ships, whatever we see, it's all going to be done for real. And I'm just very excited to see these.
Also, the white shoes look great.
Oh, yeah, the flats.
Because Ripley has those cool, like, kick-ass white high tops. Those are back in this movie. Andy wears them in the trailer. I'm sure some of the other characters wear something similar. And also, I think one of my favorite homages in this movie, in the trailer, is the air duct, the circular air duct that opens and closes, which is so famous from the first one, and obviously in the second one as well. But in the
like
first
an aperture?
Yeah, exactly. How, like, the air ducts when... Yeah, I can't remember his name. The captain goes inside. And obviously gets killed eventually. He goes in with a flamethrower. But when those air ducts close, it has that very specific spiral closing and opening mechanism. And that's in this teaser as well, in the trailer.
We also get a giant space crash as well, which we get for a moment in the trailer. So something crazy is going to happen in terms of one ship crashing somewhere. Not sure where. But, I mean, ultimately, like, Kaylee Spaney's character, obviously... She's not Ripley, but is, an archetype of the Ripley character. And I think that she's a wonderful actor. Seems to be perfect casting, especially for the young cast that they're going for. I really do think that she's going to do the role justice. Not that she's playing Ripley, but we want her to feel kind of like Ripley. We want that presence again that we haven't seen for so long. Obviously, we've had good characters in the more modern ones the last 10 years, but really Ripley is... so memorable and such an important part of the franchise. Obviously, we don't have her, but it's smart of them to go with an archetype of a character that is reminiscent of her.
And Archie Renu seems like he's probably going to be a major co-lead possibly in this film as well. He's had an up-and-coming career. Was in Shadow and Bone, Zero, the greatest beer run ever, Morbius, Upgraded. So this seems to be the biggest project he's ever worked on, and he probably is going to knock it out of the park, it looks like, in the film.
Yeah, everyone looks great. I think the casting does seem very good. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Ridley's involvement is very minimal. He's listed as producer on the trailer.
Ridley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from the interviews I've seen, especially I saw an interview between Fede and Ridley, which they released publicly last week, which I saw in theaters at the re-release of Alien a month ago. They played like a 15-minute conversation between the two of them, and Fede talked about Ridley's involvement, which really wasn't much creatively. It was more of like he would have phone calls with him from time to time, asking him specific things. But Ridley's involvement, it was really just from an EP standpoint, it seems like, and
Part ownership of the property, I think.
Yeah, and so when it comes to the name Ridley Scott, produced by Ridley Scott, Scott Free Productions, I think that's probably involved. That's a production company involved in the movie. But it seems like Ridley didn't really have much of a creative say on the film besides just advice.
But Fede did say in an interview that James Cameron helped him on a script level with the new story. So it seems like James Cameron helped him shape the story in some capacity.
Which is smart. You get those two guys, pick their brains about how would they go about doing the story today. This is my idea. You guys are the legends of this franchise and film in general. What do you think of my idea? Do you have any suggestions? And he screened it for both of them separately, and they both loved the film. They both had different opinions and notes on it as well. So they're involved, from for Ridley, it seems like just from a Godfather perspective of the movie. Like I'm like the
it's his baby
president.
It's his baby.
It's his baby. Yeah. Then James obviously involved. It seems like from a script standpoint, it's really interesting.
And I'm sure Ridley is probably a little pissed he couldn't finish his new trilogy.
Yeah, probably.
I would be.
About the Alien Covenant trilogy.
Yeah.
Prometheus trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad. I like that last movie a lot.
But both filmmakers said that this is a great adaptation and a great film. So that just gets me even more excited. The fact that they had good responses to these films.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for this movie. I can't wait. We're only 2 months away. It comes out on August 16th in theaters. I'm sure it'll be available in IMAX too. So if you can see Alien Romulus in IMAX, of course.
I want to see this in IMAX.
From 20th Century, which is a Disney property.
And I mean, ultimately, I want this movie to be brutal. And there are some good moments of horror and gore in the new ones, but I really want to go back to the raw, gritty brutality of the first films.
I think the teaser that was released a month and a half ago showed that. We obviously, it pulled out, the camera pulled back and revealed capsules that had been opened up and people had gotten out, but it was covered in blood.
Yeah.
It was blacked out for the trailer.
Yeah. Because
it wasn't a red band trailer, but it was blood everywhere. So I'm excited.
That's what I want. So I hope the kills are memorable and horrific and gross and gory. That's another aspect to the franchise that really you need to put into the film to make it feel like it has the same DNA as those original films. And there are some cool moments in Prometheus of gore. Nothing really that memorable. I mean, a couple moments, but it never really went on the same level in terms of horror as the first two at all.
I want that red blood everywhere, man. Give me some red blood.
Yeah.
And I mean, where this movie ends, we'll find out. Does it pick up right before the events of Aliens? Does it pick up? Is this actually, LV-426? Is it actually that colony on the moon that we know so well? We'll find out.
We'll see. And it was shot on the RE35 with RE Master Prime lenses and Ultra Prime lenses. So it's a great camera. That's basically, for the most part, Roger's setup. With a 239, so pretty widescreen.
Who's the cinematographer on this picture?
The DP is... Give me one moment.
Probably Fede's.
While I pull him up.
Usual.
The DP is...
DP.
First of all, music by Benjamin Wallfish, who's
very cool.
great cinematographer, great musician, composer. And then Gallo Alvarez is the cinematographer. Oh, wow. He did Roma. Oh, no. He's a pretty new DP. It looks like he spent a long time working up. So he's been on Lubezki's camera department for a while, and then he's been a cinematographer recently on his own projects. For things that I've seen, blah, 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 blah. I haven't seen any of his films in terms of being a sole cinematographer, but he looks great. It looks fantastic.
Cool.
And, I mean, he learned from Lubezki, so that's pretty fucking crazy.
I mean, for having a mentor... That's probably the best in the business you can get.
Yeah, he's listed as cinematography collaborator on Roma.
All right, cool.
And camera operator. So I'm sure he helped out Cuarón with that in some capacity to be credited with that. That's pretty crazy.
So, yeah, it looks like he's been doing a lot of stuff, and that's really, really great. So, yeah, I'm looking at his website right now.
Yeah, so as a sole cinematographer, he's done a bunch of shorts, and then his his first feature was called Gretel and Hansel with Sophia Lillis, which came out in 2020. That also looks very good. So, I mean, I'm sure this guy has proven himself and reinforced his abilities, and the trailer looks fantastic. So maybe this is like a new DP that's going to be on everyone's radar very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure after this he's going to got some good work after this.
And Benjamin Wallfish, he's my favorite horror composer right now working. He's great in horror. He did It. He helped Hans with Blade Runner 2049. He's just a really creative, fantastic composer. The Invisible Man, 13 Lives, Dunkirk, he helped conduct stuff for. So he's just been a really fantastic, excellent modern composer who's made a bunch of movies that you probably weren't sure he did. Hellboy, the new Hellboy, Shazam. So really, really great cinematographer. What's it called? It's a Cure for Wellness. Great score. Excellent score.
Mm-hmm.
But I love what he did with the It films. Really beautiful, great horror music. So he seems like a great choice. Like if I was going to make this movie, he's someone I would go to for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if Galo Alvarez, the cinematographer's from Mexico, because obviously
Seems like it to be working with Cuarón
and
and
Lubeski
Fede. Yeah.
and Fede.
Seems like it.
Let me look him up. Oh yeah, here we go. Mexican cinematographer. Very cool. Hell yeah, man.
August 16th, baby.
Oh man, can't wait. All right, that wraps our episode on Alien Romulus, Everything We Know. A little bit of a trailer breakdown in one of our most anticipated movies of the year. This is going to be a big summer, everybody. I think Alien Romulus is going to be a hit.
Oh, yeah.
Fede is a terrific director. If you've never seen his movies, can't recommend his reboots and remake of Evil Dead from 2013, and then Don't Breathe back in 2016 is absolutely terrific. It's a really, really great movie. Can't recommend that enough. He's a really great filmmaker and voice in the horror world, and I can't wait to see what he does with Alien Romulus. I think he was absolutely the perfect choice for this. I think it's a really smart decision. And yeah, I mean, he's been so big in the horror world. Like he's worked on a lot of the reboots in terms of stories and stuff like that.
He also did the new adaptation of The Dragon Tattoo, the fourth film.
The Girl in the Spider's Web?
He
Directed that.
Yeah,
the one with Claire Foy?
That was the last thing he did.
Oh, that's right.
It's good. It's just not as strong as the others, but it's really well made.
Yeah. Amazing. So Fede I think he's gonna kill it with this movie. I can't wait. Be sure to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast, everybody. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Get your posters at movieposters.com with our coupon code Raiders10 to get 10% off. And take care.
See you next time.
This episode was executive produced by our chosen one patrons, Cody Moen, Andrew Hagan, Becca Keene, Benjamin Cook, Calvin Murphy Griggs, Nicholas Martin, Darian Singleton, Tyler McFly, Andrew Hagan. Our chosen one patrons are our biggest supporters. Thank you so much. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a mirror image production. Sound mixing done by Jacob Kossler. Opening music by Chase Jackson.